Hey guys, welcome back to Prepping in Progress. I'm Steve, and today we're going to be talking about a subject based upon the Boy Scout motto: be prepared, and some things we need to talk about with your preps. So it's going to get a little bumpy in the Jeep, so let's do it. So the name of the game today is Be Prepared. I want to tell you a little story about a man I used to know, and thank goodness he's still with us for now. He's an older gentleman now. His name is Clyde Peters. If you've read the book, The Man Who Jumped Through Clouds, you've read his story. But Clyde told me a little bit more about what he did in the Amazon rainforest. I can't remember the girl's name, but if you look up Airplane Crash Survivor Amazon, you'll find her. The plane came apart in the air, and somehow her seat survived the crash, came down through the canopy, and she survived and managed to walk out of the Amazon. Well, Clyde was contacted to parachute in and to see if there were any other survivors. They figured this teenager could walk out, there would be more. So Clyde agreed, and the military provided him with all the gear, all the things: collapsible chainsaw, pole saws, everything he would need to build a landing strip when he got in and found the survivors. And he tells about how he was going through his gear, and he had this little case that he always carried with him when he flew, when he parachuted, whenever he did anything. And he looked at this little case, and he looked at all the gear he had, and he decided not to take the case. He laid it aside. The day comes for the jump. He's got all of his gear strapped to him, the chainsaw strapped to his leg, all of this stuff. He gets to the door of the plane. Jump master yells, "Go!" And Clyde jumps. And the jump is going good. He's spread out. He's doing his thing. Reaches the right altitude. Pulls the ripcord. Canopy opens. Jerks him upright. And the chainsaw and most of his gear tears off of his body and plummets into the rainforest. Clyde lands, starts checking his gear, and realizes that the little case that he usually kept tucked in his jumpsuit was still back at base, and his compass was gone. He had no idea where he was going or how to get out of there. And he wandered around the rainforest. He was a good bushman. He ended up getting out of there. But he said, "Steve, I lost my compass." There's a lesson in there. Don't lose your compass. He wasn't prepared for his gear to disappear on him. I had a similar instance a little bit ago, and if you're looking out the back window, you can tell that the rain has stopped. A while back, we got a call from a friend of mine. "Hey, I've got an excess of chicken. Come up to Fayetteville, Arkansas, pick it up. Okay. Loaded up the trailer, headed up there, and he overloaded us with chicken, and we were able to distribute it and bless other people. We've talked about this. What I didn't talk about on other videos, when I left the house, sunny skies, good weather, everything's fine. Got up there, parked in the parking lot, waiting for the delivery truck to arrive. All of a sudden it gets overcast, rain starts pouring down. But hey, I'm a prepper, right? Got my inch bag in the back. Got my bug out bag in the back. I'm golden, right? I climb in the back, start going through my gear. Hey, guess what? My leather jacket's not back here. There's no raincoat in my inch bag. Okay, it's got to be in my bug out bag. Start pulling stuff out of my bug out bag. Nothing. Finally, I look at this red bag lying in the back. Okay, fine. And I pulled out my fire department turnout coat and put it on. Pastor Joe, who happened to be there, gave me a rough time over that. Thought you were a prepper. Where's your tarp? Where's your plastic bag? Come on, man, you know, what's going on here? And I looked at him, I said, I adapted and I improvised. Oh, when this rain started coming down when I was filming the intro, I looked back. Yes, my leather jacket's back there. And a little case that has a rain poncho. We talk about being prepared. We buy the beans, the Band-Aids, the bullets. We buy the tools. We stock our places. We learn our skills. But all for want of a small case. No thicker than that. Our day can get a lot more difficult. And I had to stop and think as we were driving, or as I was driving. We, you and me. Have you inventoried your gear recently? I have. And with all the traveling, space has been limited, so I've had to prioritize what I was carrying with me. And I've got a good all-around kit in the back. But it begs the question, what if things go sideways while I'm on the road? What do we do if things change, if our plans change? What do we do if the weather bites us? Have you inventoried your gear recently? Have you used gear out of your bug out bag, out of your inch bag, out of your get home bag? Have you restocked it recently? You know, I don't know if you noticed in the last video, I was walking around with a big old bandage on this finger. I tried to cut the tip off of it a couple weeks ago. Managed to grab some Loctite, don't do this at home, kids, and stop the bleeding and get everything glued shut. And it is healing nicely, much better than I thought it would be. But at the last minute, I didn't realize, we all know that super glue was originally designed by the U.S. military as a wound closure. Check your ingredients. Loctite apparently has a skin irritant in it and is not recommended for any use on skin. I didn't know that, but it's something I do now. Thankfully, I didn't have any irritation from it. But now I have to replace the Loctite, the super glue, and get a regular super glue that doesn't have a skin irritant for wound care. Little things, be prepared. The Boy Scouts, that's their motto. And I'm sure my buddy NWA Prepper and a few others are going to jump in here and leave Boy Scout comments. And, pay attention to them. Boy Scouts are some of the most well-educated and well-prepared guys out there. I have great respect for anyone who goes through Cubbies and Boy Scouts. And if you can attain Eagle Scout, hats off to you. Hats off anyway, but hats off to you. Be prepared. We like to think we're prepared, don't we? We like to think we've got all the gear, all the toys, all the tools. We're good to rock and roll. But have you used your gear recently? I'm not talking about training with your gear. I advocate that on a weekly basis, if not daily. Sit down and do some more canning. Sit down and do some more Mylar bagging. Sit down and get to work. But while you're working, keep an inventory not only of what you have stored, but you need to be keeping an inventory of what you've used. You could walk into a situation thinking, I've got 20 days worth of rations in my inch bag. Well, when you went camping 6 weeks ago, you took a couple of MREs out and you used that can of SpaghettiOs and you lost your P38 can opener. And then there was last week on the job site, you needed a quick pick-me-up, so you went to get the peanut butter out of your bug-out bag, but then suddenly you were really hungry, so you grabbed the pasta meal out of it, the cheese tortellini and tomato sauce. And those things add up. Have you checked your gear recently? Have you checked to see if mice got in your car if you park it outside? Shoot, have you checked to see if mice got in your car if you park it in the garage? I was up at the homestead a few days ago, had the door open, was in the garage, saw something out the corner of my eye. It was a mouse. He's no longer in the garage. He's in the house. No. It helped him leave. Thankfully, I don't store a whole lot of long-term food storage in the hot garage. And I've been managing and able to do a great deal of long-term food prep recently. Been blessed over the last week and a half. And you know who you are, and you know what we did, and thank you. You're awesome. The lesson for today: go out and check your inventory. Make sure it's all there. Make sure it's good to go. Make sure you haven't handicapped yourself. So, you got this. Everything's under control. Let's get prepping, guys.